How many people here have had a moment when they had to make a quick decision about telling the truth or stretching the truth?
If authenticity was easy and your business will grow just by doing it, like everyone would do it, right? The fact is it's not.
So in a case like this, son, where's the work? I haven't done it. He's stressed out because he's like, every morning he's going to wake up to a barrage of messages and he has to lie about it.
How much do you feel like authenticity plays into sales, into being able to communicate our product with the client?
You know, here's the thing about authenticity, right? If you're really fully authentic, you're going to lose some business. In our agency, we've had so many cases where we were being too honest, and then some competitor agency will like do some manipulative sales tactics and they'll win that project over. And things will happen like that, you know. You can't expect, if authenticity was easy and your business will grow just by doing it, like everyone would do it, right? The fact is it's not. For me, it helps in the long run. So I'll tell you a story. When we first started like our agency in the like first couple of years, we were struggling so much like financially, that we started to take on extra clients, even though we didn't have the bandwidth to do them. I remember that like that whole year, like every day I would go to bed like at like midnight, wake up at like 6 a.m. and just have to hear like text message from clients like, when is this going to be done? And like just my whole day was like that, right? Just listening to like people complaining. And like I would always come up with some, you know, like, like it's on time, don't worry, you know. And when they're like, can you show us, you know, the progress? I'm like, we're having some server issues that, you know, they can't see it. And one day, like I was on the phone with the client and he was like, he kind of like, you know, caught me off guard. Like he put me on the spot. He's like, I don't care if it's not done, just show me what you have now. And the thing is, I haven't even started it. So I had to just tell him the truth. And I said, like, you know, we brought on some extra clients because we're having some cash flow issues. And that's why your project is delayed. And I was like, you know, are you going to fire us? And he actually like didn't say anything for a while. And then he's like, no, I'm actually happy that you told me this. I'm glad that you told me this because now I know I can trust you. And he gave us like a bonus to make sure that we don't go out of business. But like I said, that's not an easy thing to do, to go to a client and say, hey, like we're having some financial difficulties, and like to actually say that. You can lose clients like that too. So I think what I want to say about authenticity is like, I don't think it's like authenticity is what people think it is. And most people that say be authentic, I don't see a lot of them like fully being authentic.
How many people here have had a moment like that when they had to make a quick decision about telling the truth or stretching the truth? And sounds like I didn't know you could do that. Like what? Be honest and be not lying? Yeah, that's how you're supposed to run your business. But we're scared, we're insecure, and we're afraid. And we think the rules of engagement are such that they want to hear this. And we tell them that. And you know that expression, it's like the cover up is worse than the crime, or the truth will set you free. It's grounded in wisdom there. It's not just some cliche that you hear. So he had a hard choice to make, tell them the truth or continue to lie, knowing that this is going to get worse. And he decided to tell the truth, and he learned a valuable lesson in that moment. But how many of you all had to like decide like, do I fib a little bit or do I tell the truth? Have you had that? Yeah, just only two people who are going to be honest with us.
I think a lot of
we've
times
all had
I
that.
was really insecure about certain things.
The number one most stressful thing to me to ever have experienced is when you need to do two things at the same time and you can't do both. For example, I need to finish the work, but I have to go to this meeting, or I'm stuck in traffic and there's nothing we can do, but I have to be there. It's always like when you're torn into two different directions. So in a case like this, son, where's the work? I haven't done it. He's stressed out because he's like, every morning he's going to wake up to a barrage of messages and he has to lie about it. You can't be at two places at the same time. Like, I promise I'm going to be with the boys, or I'm going to go on date night with my wife. Like, no, I have to break one of those two words and we can't stress out of our mind. I'll tell you a story. It's not that unlike what you just said, but it doesn't really get, I don't think, at maybe in the tension behind your question, but let's see if it does. So I'm going to double click on what he just said. Ben Birds and I, on the largest logo job we've ever had the opportunity to look at, was over $100,000 just to design a logo. Big East Coast telecom company. And they wanted to redesign their logo. Not their brand, just the logo. It was like $100,000+. And Ben has been talking to their second in command. He's my second in command. He's my chief operating officer. And they're talking, and they're doing lots of stuff. And he goes, Chris, we're going to talk to the CEO. Like, fantastic, Ben. And Ben and I are still relatively new in our business relationship. He had at a point worked for me, and now he's elevated to like, you're running the company, and I'm just like the figurehead at this point, right? As the CEO. So we got this big meeting, and CEO to CEO, and the two second in commands are on the call. And my style of preparing for a sales call at this point is I don't prepare at all. I'm like, you answer all the hard questions, all the detail stuff. I'll just do the sales. So some of you, that might be shocking to you. Like, how can you do the sales call if you don't know what's going on? I know they're a telecom company. They're back east. I think they're from Jersey. I looked at the site once. I'm good to go. I always tell my team when they're in the room, if it's a technical question, if it's a financial question, it's all you guys, but I'll do the call. Please don't say anything while we're on the call. Unless I specifically point to you. Back then, no Zoom. Then you say it. Otherwise, do not say anything. You'll mess up the sales call. We're on the call. CEO's like, great. Oh, great things. We're here. We've passed all the checks, and he says to me, Chris, do you know what we do? And I had the sun moment. But, I'm not a kid. I'm like late 40s or mid 40s. And I'm like, nope, I have it. I'm hoping I'm going to find out what you do on this call. And I turn to Ben, and Ben's face is like, he's a white guy, but he's as white as white can be. And we're just going, all right? So we do our call, we're done. And I tell him some reason why I don't try to understand what they do. What is the point of having a call to assume what someone's going to do when the website's old anyways? And I believe you have problems with all this communication, and we're here to help. And we got on the phone, and I'm like just happy as a clam. And Ben's like trying not to show me his disgust with me because it took weeks to get here. And according to his playbook, we've totally effed up. And I'm like, how'd the call go? And he's being really polite because he knows, his job could be on the line. He goes, how'd you think it went? I'm like, it went great, man. Let me know how it goes, if we're in or not. And then he says, you could have just picked me when he said, do you know what we do? He was expecting me to pass the baton to him and saying, so Ben, what do they do? Right? And I told him, he asked me a direct question. And if you ever watch politics and they ask him a direct question and they don't answer the question, how do you feel inside? I'm like, you slimy snake son of a... I'm not going to trust you. I cannot trust you. He cannot ask me, Chris, or did you guys? He said, Chris, do you know what we do? I said, I do not. And so Ben's like, resigned, like, we're not going to get the gig. It turns out a week later, they awarded us the largest logo job we've ever been paid to do. So we do the work. It's a bit of work. And then we become friends with them. And Ben asked the second command, we're doing a great job. Everything's cool. Yes. Just out of curiosity, why did you guys pick us out of all the people you could have picked? He said, when Chris told the truth to our boss, he knew we could trust this guy. Same story, different context. I'm like, I told you. And if they don't want a straight answer, they don't deserve our help. All I can do is to tell you the truth. There's a Depeche Mode song. It's called The Policy of Truth. That's a policy I live by. And I always tell people, do not ask me a question where you do not want to hear the truth. Because I will tell you the truth. I'm kind of a fault. I may be on the spectrum where if you ask me a question, I must tell you the truth. I don't know how else to tell you it, right? If you wear an ugly dress and you know that, do not ask me if this dress is okay. And I get into trouble with my wife. I get into trouble with lots of people. I've learned a little bit. I'm like, how can I be helpful to you right now? Just tell me I look right. You look right. I can do that. But don't ask me a question expecting the truth and not hearing it, because I don't know how to do that. I do not have that skill. I wish I did.